than the statue itself. And, rightly so, he's going to be remembered, because he was an outstanding player in probably the best, most sustained period of performance.
That's it. Okay, so we'll move on from that. Catalan Dragons fullback Tony Gigot has had a 2-year suspension by the French Rugby League Federation doping department reduced to 3 months, meaning he is able to return to action. Gigot is 26 and tested negative, but was banned in February after an inappropriate exchange with an anti-doping officer in October.
Yeah, Langer's got in touch and pointed out that his hashtag Liberté pour Gigot campaign worked.
There you go.
But yeah, Alan Walker's popping the champagne corks as we speak.
Absolutely. Well, his team need it very, very quickly, don't they? Okay, St Helens winger Adam Swift has signed a new 2-year contract with the Super League side. The 24-year-old came through the Saints Academy and scored a hat-trick on his debut against Widnes in 2012. It's great to be playing for my hometown club and one I've watched since being a kid, he said. I want to continue to work hard and improve, and I look forward to kicking on and hopefully achieving more silverware with the club. Good piece of business. We rate Adam Swift quite highly on the Super League pod.
Yep.
Salford Red Devils have announced that assistant coaches Martin Gleeson and Willie Poaching have signed new contracts with the club, alongside strength and conditioning coach Greg Brown. Gleeson has been part of Ian Watson's coaching team since his arrival in 2015, while Poaching is a new addition since joining the club ahead of the current campaign. Meanwhile, Brown arrived in 2016 after leaving the Huddersfield Giants. So on the back mark of Ian Watson's new deal, and new deals for some of their most influential playing staff, Salford are now tying down their assistant coaches and their conditioners. This is all stabilising stuff that cements the reasons why they're doing so well in the league, in my opinion.
Absolutely. The only thing missing from this sensible stabilising stuff from Salford is, a recommitment to academy and reserve grade rugby league, and I hope that the Doc sees sense in that and Ian Blease can push him down that route.
You would hope so. Robbie Hunter-Paul, the legendary former Bradford Bulls halfback, has joined Salford Red Devils in a consultancy role. The Salford owner Marwan Kukash confirmed on Twitter that Hunter-Paul will be working with the club as a commercial, media and marketing consultant. Hunter-Paul was most recently the chief executive of Bradford Bulls, but left the club last August. Before that, he had worked for Huddersfield Giants as their business development manager before leaving to join Bradford. Good luck to Robbie Hunter-Paul.
Yeah, lots of experience, seen it go wrong, seen it go okay, and should be able to put that into the club. And he used to play for Salford, didn't he?
So, he did, very brief stint with him, didn't he?
Won the Northern Rail Cup with him, didn't he?
That's right, yeah. Flipping
was it? Yeah.
He did win the Northern Rail Cup with him. Good old Robbie Hunter-Paul. Super League side Warrington Wolves have completed the cross-code signing of Yorkshire Carnegie winger Taylor Prell on an 18-month contract. The 20-year-old former England under-20 international had been on trial at Wolves, where he scored 4 tries in a reserve game against Hull FC. Prell was out of contract at the Rugby Union Championship side Yorkshire this summer, and his new deal runs until November 2018. I've always liked rugby league and enjoyed watching it, and I thought it was an opportunity to have a switch of codes, he said. He's shown on the training park he's able to pick up our game, said head coach Tony Smith, which is a big ask for someone who's played another sport. There you go, good luck to that young man then.
They'll be up in the cap, won't they? Stop the talent train.
That's it, exactly. Did I say what position he played?
Wing.
He's a winger. There you go. I would suggest that that's one of the easier transitions to make. So good luck to him. Former Leeds forward Alex Foster has signed a deal with Castleford until the end of the season. Foster's 23 and joined the Tigers on trial after Bradford, who he had previously joined from London Broncos at the end of last season, were liquidated in the winter. Excuse me. He said, I'm really excited to be at the Tigers. It means 2 months trial here was so worth it. Yeah, good luck to Alex Foster. Big lad, runs his way.
He'll be on loan to some championship club then.
He'll be coming back to the Bulls, I'd have thought, with a bit of luck. He can share a car with Kevin Leroy. Gloucestershire Allgolds have signed utility back Stephen Neal on loan from Oldham. Neal is 26 and has recently recovered from a knee reconstruction, though featured in a handful of pre-season games this year. Good luck to him. League One side Toronto Wolfpack have signed former Great Britain international prop Ryan Bailey on a 2-year deal. Bailey's 32 and has been without a club since leaving Warrington at the end of 2016, having made 15 appearances. Feels great to be back playing and continuing my career, he said. I've been out of the game since the grand final last year, but I've been keeping myself fit. I'm not sure. I think he might have been attending the Carl Price.
No, he looks in good shape.
Is he looking good, Nick?
Yeah.
Good for him. That's all right then. Match official Joe Cobb has retired from rugby league refereeing, according to the RFL. Cobb is 30, that's the most astounding piece of news this week, put his legal career on hold to join the RFL's full-time pool and was among the officials for England's, did you like that?
Yeah.
England's 2015 series against New Zealand. However, he is the third Super League official to quit in a year, following Matt Thomason and George Stokes. The RFL would like to thank Joe for his efforts, said Chief Operating Officer Ralph Rimmer. In a statement, we wish him the best of luck pursuing his professional ambitions.
Yeah, Brian Davies got in touch. He said, a bit of debate on next week. Silver's ref claiming that Joe Cobb was bullied out rather than retired.
I actually got in touch with Richard Silver to see if he wanted to come on the show. He was very quick to respond and was very courteous and polite, but did point out that he had absolutely no desire to talk about his mate behind his back and also was subject to quite a strenuous NDA.
Yeah.
So it was a swing and a miss. So you don't get.
It's not stopped him before from doing things.
Maybe he's learned his lesson, pal. Maybe now he's learning his lesson.
Yeah.
There you go. Sorry, carry on.
Paul O'Brien said he's not the first referee to go because of this, so sort of suggested. Yeah, and we've known this has been coming. He hasn't been involved this year, and it was all came out in the papers in the off season, didn't it?
Yeah.
This sort of stuff. It's a shame because you didn't like Joe Cobb particularly as a referee. I know that, but. Look. Even if there's bullying within the RFL structure about which is not good, it should not happen. The worst thing, surely, is the bullying or the attention they get from us, the fans, on social media, and then if that's ever almost supported by some comments that you might get made from your bosses at Red Hall, then that's just not going to fly, is it? And I can understand why. If they're getting badly treated, they're wanting to step down. We need to all band together and realise that without these guys, we don't have the game. We're far more biased than they will ever be, and they make far fewer mistakes on a weekly basis per decision they have to make compared to our favourite halfback at our team, our hooker, they make less mistakes than our prop who drops the ball, gives away a penalty. They're not the people that drive results, and they don't do it on purpose if they are.
No. Well, first of all, thank you for chucking me in with that group of people. Really appreciate that. I think we know that's not where I live. Yes, I have been critical of Joe Cobb's performances in the past. No, I don't think it's the way to treat people.
No, we are.
And I agree fully with you that what we should be doing is making sure that our referees are treated in such a way that because they will get the barracking and the abuse from fans, that when they come into work to analyse their performances, they're supported and given the ability to learn and develop. The problem we've had is that we've had to fast track so many referees in because of this, what appears to be cultural attitude at Red Hall, which clearly is, at least anecdotally, exists, and it's not just in one case now. We're having to bring in younger referees and different people and lads who aren't necessarily ready for the pressures of refereeing at Super League quicker than we would want to. We just need to do, as you said, give the lads time to get into the game, accept that without them there is no sport, and that's the important thing. And then make a
we might need to look at the full-time refereeing position, and then how pressure's put on them to take up other roles within the RFL to sort of fill their time out and stuff.
Maybe we as human beings need to realise that screaming at Joe Cobb for 80 minutes on a Friday night is not going to, first of all, solve any of your problems. Second of all, it's entertainment, it's sport. It's still meant to be played with a relative amount of sportsmanship. I don't think a referee has cost a team a game in my entire recollection of the sport. I think you can say there's been decisions that have gone against teams and they've had an adverse impact, but I can take you into any of those games that you would care to point out to me and show you any number of errors, any number of drop balls, any number of knock-ons that your own team has made. So before you direct your ire at the referee, and it's a very, very easy fucking target, look at yourself a little bit more, and that's the thing I would say to people.
I don't think it's the fans shouting at the referee from the stands that puts the referees off, or that creates the game culture. It's the messages that they get. It's the message boards. It's the phone-ins. It's the TV coverage criticisms. Criticism of referees is fair because they make mistakes. You have to balance that out with criticising the players equally for making the mistakes and celebrating good stuff that's done, and that's what we try and do on SLP.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I enjoy most is when on the Sky coverage and when anecdotally we get to applaud a good decision that a referee's made and go, wow, he's picked it out.
Now we will be critical of a decision later on.
Well, yeah.
Because there's grounds to do that.
Yes.
But James Child will carry it like a man, like he has done his whole career.
There you go, absolutely. Wales have been handed a funding boost ahead of the 2017 World Cup in Australia. Sport Wales has allocated funding to the WRL's community, governance and coaching programmes, totalling £75,000 or more over 12 months from April the 1st. Wales Rugby League Chief Executive Chris Thayer said, "We would like to thank Sport Wales for believing in what we are trying to achieve. The total investment from Sports Wales into Rugby League this year is the highest ever recorded and marks a 47% increase compared to last year's grant, so we are naturally delighted with the outcome. The reason for the increase is down to the additional national performance support from Sport Wales's Elite Sport Lottery Fund. We understand that this is a special one-off from Sport Wales as it's a World Cup year, and as current European champions they recognise the progress we've made both on and off the field, so good luck in spending that money wisely."
Definitely.
Okay. And finally, England's fans will be charged to watch next month's Test match against Samoa, one national newspaper has claimed today.
It was last week.
It was believed the game, which is England's only warm-up before the autumn's World Cup, would be televised on the BBC on the morning of Saturday, May the 6th. However, the Daily Star, fewer reputable publications exist than the Daily Star, says that fans will have to pay to access a streaming site after rejecting the BBC's offer to broadcast the match to viewers for nothing. Instead, the fans will be charged if they want to watch, although it's unclear how much they will have to pay just yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen the price thrown out there yet, but plenty of feedback on this. The Honourable Langers38 said rant worthy. Should be, as this seems a poorly thought out plan, #short-changed. Dom Hodgson at The Hodge said, if this is true, it's really short-sighted. Brian Davies said, the outcry from league fans and the media has been pathetic on this one. The streaming will only be a few quid, so if people are moaning about the cost, then tough. Too many people in rugby league want everything on the cheap and then moan when there isn't any money in the game. As for all the tosh about the RFL turning down a TV audience of 1 million, bollocks, there is no way that 1 million people would tune into BBC One early on a Saturday morning to watch the game. The RFL decision seems a sensible one. TV rights are up for grabs in 2021. Online may well be a big part of the future TV rights. It seems sensible for the RFL to test the water out with a match of this type to help them firm their hand for the negotiations. They have few other games that are of interest that they could stream behind a paywall. I also think it's sensible for the RFL to put some value on the rights to the Samoa game. What message does it give the BBC if we're so desperate for them to air the match we'll let them have it for free? There are no England internationals in this country this year. The rights to the World Cup have already been sold, and the BBC recognise the value they are getting from the Challenge Cup and their highlights and radio coverage of the Super League. We shouldn't bend over and be grateful that the BBC are prepared to shaft us on this one too. And then finally, Tim G said, now then lads, wanted to add my 2 pence on the debate as I'm still angry about it. Personally, I think putting it behind a paywall is completely bonkers, and it's now up to us fans, hard as it may be, to completely ignore it and under no circumstances hand over the cash. This is seemingly the only way the RFL will listen. We should be paying the BBC to screen it and flogging it to death. Terrible marketing.
Well, Tim and Brian there basically summed up how I went on this in terms of the chronology for the way I was looking at it. Initially I was outraged and fuming that I wouldn't, I was refusing to pay to watch it, but Brian does put that bigger picture spin on things as he so often likes to do, and I feel like that actually does make quite a bit of sense to my mind, what Brian said.
I'd landed on the same thing as Brian, and when his email dropped last night, I replied to him saying, spoiler alert, but I'm pretty much on board with you. It is obviously disappointing that there's not going to be the hypothetical potential for the free-to-air BBC audience, but I'm not sure how big the audience would have been anyway, and I'm not sure how much we lose, because the BBC, it wouldn't build momentum for the World Cup because it's so 6 months before the World Cup, and the BBC's coverage of the World Cup isn't going to be any reduced because of this. They're not going to change their approach to it because of this, and we're not going to lose out on what the World Cup will be able to generate interest-wise for the sport on free-to-air TV because of this. what it does allow us to do is to test the market. My only worry is that opportunity going to be wasted